Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kids Show. And today, funny enough, we have to talk about a dead game that isn't relevant anymore, a franchise that unfortunately probably isn't going to be making a return. Uh, discuss why and how bad this generally is, and that is unfortunately Saints Row. Now, I had a lot of things to say about Saints Row, mostly because there's just a lot of people in the gaming community blatantly lying about Saints Row. Look, I'm not here to throw shade at people that bought the game. They said, "Hey, it wasn't perfect, but I had fun with it. It was all good. Hey, you do you. I'm glad that you managed to find some fun out of it." But this is mostly geared towards the people that absolutely fucking capped for this game. Bullshit out of their mouths being spewed that the game is good, the sales are good. Apparently that's not the case. And so we gonna talk about it, man. Bracer lost big on Saints Row, which cost $100 million. That's what it is. I remember when people were somehow, magically celebrating that this game was selling better than was projected. But apparently, no, that's really not the case. This is actually a pretty big loss for Embracer here. Now, the article says Saints Row was released last year in August after a long hiatus for the long running franchise. The newest entry served as a reboot for the franchise but kept a similar over the top style that was seen in past games. Now, in a way, I don't really agree with their opinion on this article in regards to the type of game it was. The reason why, my opinion, the game flopped is because it didn't keep the similar over the top style that was seen in past games. Yes, in some ways, the game was absolutely ridiculous in its own right, but it did, in fact, deviate from what Saints Row is. And Saints Row was an extremely, not politically correct franchise. And this game was a reboot that, wanted to appeal to Gen Z, wanted to be over the top while staying in that realm of political correctness. And when you forsaken a huge part of your, your old, your old fan base in general, um, with a fan base that was niche to begin with, and basically say, "Fuck you, I'm gonna go for an entirely other fan base that didn't even really grow up with our games like that." And hope that they will pay attention to us. Well, this is why you fail. But the article continues. Volition's fresh reboot was released to a mediocre reception, and many were not fond of the franchise's new direction. However, early sales reports for the game appeared to be encouraging. Yeah, that's like a front. But Embracer has just revealed that Saints Row led to huge losses for the company. So Embracer investor here says big loss for Embracer Group, PC console segment due to high depreciation associated with underperforming releases earlier in the year, particularly Saints Row, which cost more than 100 million. Saints Row was given a budget of over 100 million, which, that's actually a pretty decent budget for a AAA title from what I've looked up. It seems like a AAA budget's, at least, as of 2022 averaged about 80 million. So 100 million, pretty decent in its own right. Crazy how the game looked like the giant pile of shit that it did despite having a pretty decent amount of money put behind it. It goes to show that Volition just ain't it anymore. They have not been able to step their game up for modern gaming. And well, when they themselves went at their own audience, disrespected the shit out of them for the audience, saying, "Yeah, this is not what we remember from Saints Row. This is something entirely different in its essence and not for me." Yeah, Volition said, "Well, F you. We don't want you anyway." And the fan base essentially said, "Okay, well, we don't want your game anyway. Peace out, Girl Scout." But let's see. But this did not lead to much profit for Embracer. Following the disappointing release, developer Volition was also integrated with Gearbox software. I hope that the bad actors at Volition that, basically said F you to the people they were trying to sell product to got the boot, because they honestly deserve it. when it comes to modern day entertainment, a lot of these creators, a lot of these people that want us to engage in their product, you're not entitled to my time, you're not entitled to my money. You will either respect me or you will fail. So, and I'm not just speaking for me, I'm speaking for all gamers. If you want to, sell product to gamers, you want to sell product to anybody, you better fucking respect, your potential audience, or your potential audience is going to flip you off. That's really what it boils down to. I hope the individuals at Volition learned a valuable lesson from this disgusting L that they took. That honestly, a lot of it in itself was self inflicted. This could mean that fans of the franchise might have to wait a few years for a new title in the Saints Row universe. Honestly, I think Saints Row is done, guys. I think it's an absolute wrap for Saints Row. Personally, I just don't feel, after bomb after bomb, at some point failing upward is just not an option anymore. A lot of these companies want to ignore that reality, but sooner or later, push comes to shove, falling upward ain't gonna fucking cut it. Especially when, I mean, not for nothing, we're in the middle of a recession right now. Embracer has clarified that the company is taking a different approach to projects moving forward. Each new project has to earn its right to exist. I do think, given what we saw even early on Saints Row, the reboot, yeah, it did not earn its right to exist. It was an abomination, and it didn't really take much to realize that. If you're a longtime fan of Saints Row, a lot of people always want to say, "Hey, if you didn't play the game, you don't have the right to criticize it." It's like, bro, the reason why I didn't play this fucking game is because it doesn't take much to tell it's a piece of shit. It really doesn't. Sorry, not sorry. But which should lead to more quality releases for the best possible experience. Look, I think that's a great thing. I really do. With the growing cost of game development, it makes sense for Embracer to ensure that every new release is profitable to an extent for major game publishers. Embracer has also announced that developers Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal are aiming for releasing five AAA titles in the next 5 years. Looking at the busy release schedule, the company might not be able to give much attention to the Saints Row franchise in the coming years. I mean, well, in regards to Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, like those are two different developers doing their own thing. Now, I don't personally know what Gearbox is up to. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be fucking with Saints Row anytime soon. But I think it is good that Embracer is realizing that this is a self-inflicted wound. To whatever extent, I can't really say. But Embracer says, look, our projects have to earn the right to exist, devs. And so quality control is going to be taken into account more. To me, that's good for gamers, man. In the very least, look, we can criticize that Saints Row, wasn't Saints Row in essence, and that on that front, it just wasn't the style that we expect from Saints Row. But another thing entirely in regards to Saints Row is that it came out buggy as shit. It didn't really play very well. From what I saw, it didn't even have like modern shit in regards to like just performance on PC, things like that. Overall, the game looked like dog shit, ran like dog shit. It was glitchy as hell. Like these are things that with quality control could have been ironed out. The game could have at least released in an acceptable state. I think that, anybody who's remotely sane could have at least, admitted to that. The game could have released in a far better state. It seemed to be pretty unacceptable, some of the things that I was seeing happen in the game. I was watching people like Kyle play it and other individuals play it as well. It's like, yeah, damn, this is just terrible. And yeah, on that front, hopefully, whatever Volition or Gearbox is working on, as well as other devs, they will take into account quality control, and that will be a pivotal focus for, this publisher entirely, Embracer Group, whatnot, and as well these developers. This, while it does suck that I don't think we're ever gonna see another Saints Row again. Unfortunately, that does suck because if a Saints Row game came out that embraced the essence of what I grew up with in regards to Saints Row, it would be so hype, man. If we would have got a real Saints Row game in 2022, ooh, I would have been very, very excited and it would have been a day one purchase. But unfortunately, we just didn't get that. So that's a problem. So for me, it's one of those things where is it sad that Saints Row is probably done as a franchise? Yeah, but um if anything, it's just a bastardized franchise, at least for 2022's game. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this. I know a lot of people were trying to convince themselves that the game was successful, that the game was good. But yeah, sorry to have to tell you, the game sucks, bro. Get over it, accept it. It is what it is. But yeah, guys, if you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitch or Twitter if you want to continue the conversation. And guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.